excitement, Coach?
I'm happy to be back. A long road trip for us, and so off today, back at it tomorrow, and then we hit the road to go to Wake Forest on Wednesday.
Any questions for Coach?
42 turnovers. They're getting it now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they're starting to figure it out. They're starting to understand. They're playing a lot harder. They're playing together. We're definitely trending the way we need to trend, and I think they have a lot of fun too. I mean, a couple times we wanted to call off the press, and they pouted or like, "Hey, we don't want to." I'm like, we're going to," and so I think they're really starting to have fun with it as well.
Is that playing harder, knowing the system better, so they're not tentative, they don't hesitate? Is that
I think it's a lot of things. I think we've kind of adjusted our rotations, and we're playing not necessarily subbing 5 in and 5 out, but we are subbing kind of like that. And I think that helps people play harder when they're on the floor because they don't have to save anything and they know they're going to get a rest and be able to go back. And just more time. I mean, I've said it multiple times and I'll say it every year. The teams I coach usually struggle early. A lot of our losses come in November, December, and obviously March. And so that's nothing out of the ordinary that it took some time.
Is this about the right time where they start to get it in your experience from the years past and learning this new system?
Yep. Usually after Christmas break, it'd be a little bit different because we play, our schedule's not great right when we come back after Christmas break either, but usually middle of January, February is when we kind of hit our stride, hopefully, knock on wood.
Did this past couple of games tell them, hey, we can play on the road?
Yeah, and we shot well on the road at Elon, which was huge. I think we're just, our schedule was tough, and we got a lot of flack for our schedule, and it was really tough, but it helped us. It's better than playing all home games against teams that you're supposed to beat. You know, we're going to be ready. We're going to be seasoned. We know what our travel looks like. We know when we should shoot around. We know what we should do the night before. We know what our timing looks like, and so I think that'll help us in the long run. Whereas if we had a cushy schedule.
What's a number you want to see your team improve on? Is it still shooting? Is it the turnovers?
Shooting, probably our 3-point shooting percentage, our overall percentage, and then our turnovers need to go down. I think our forced turnovers are good, our steals are good. I'd like our offensive rebounds to go up by about 2.5, 3 a game, but I think everything else is about where it needs to be except for our 3-point shooting percentage. I mean, if we're getting more shots than our opponent and we're shooting well, then everything kind of looks a whole lot different.
Who's improved the most in the beginning of the season?
Aislinn Hayes. Yeah. She had a year off and she missed the summer because she was still in grad school, and so she was really behind the 8 ball, and we told her multiple times, it's going to take some time, you're going to be fine. It's going to take some time, you're going to be fine. And she is a rock star now, and so she's really fun to coach. And we have Alicia Hayes, who now with the transfer rules is now back in our lineup, so she's going to make us a lot better as well. She got on the floor at Elon, and that's hard, right? I don't know if you guys have kept up with it, but it was they can play, they can not play, they can play. She knows the day before the game, after kind of like clocking out, like she wasn't going to get to go at all this season, the day before the game that she was now eligible for the rest of the year. And so just to be thrown in that position, and she stepped on the floor and she helped us. She's a good defender. She plays hard. She's worked her tail off every single day in practice. That she's going to be a nice addition for us.
Can you go through a little bit about how you landed those two?
Yeah, I mean, a situation where a buddy of mine reached out and said that they were looking, and I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it because I think maybe I wasn't even here yet, and casually brought him up, and to Coach Jen, and she goes, "What? Those two? Can we get those two?" So I was like, "Oh, well, let me try to just text this number." Texted the number, talked to him. I think instantly it felt right on the phone. It felt right, and then we picked him up in Charleston, brought him to Huntington, and on the car right here, it was like, "Oh, this is a great relationship. This feels right. This is good," and they've been a 10 out of 10 ever since.
What's your plan of attack, Christmas-wise, and getting ready for the conference part of the schedule?
Yeah, so we're going to have 4 days off. So after Wake Forest, we're going to be off, and we're going to come back on the 26th. So I'm a big believer in family. Take a break. The Division II model, you get automatically 7 days off, and so sometimes D2 it ends up being 10 days off. And so, there are some things about the D2 model that I really like, and getting a break, taking a deep breath, kind of being able to chunk your season into 2 halves of when we come back, it's go time. And so I think that our team is getting hungrier and hungrier by the day. And so I think that they're going to be ready when they have a little bit of a reset. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for them right now. And then when they come back, I think they're going to be ready.
Great.
Thank you, guys.